guys for the great moments of surprise in your tunes. I mean, it just goes such a long way. It just really, I think it just really fills us up as listeners. We get so used to that idea that we're just going to kind of, we're going to be handed a groove, and we better just sort of like it, or like it till the end of the song.
Yeah.
And it's really nice that you guys provide that, that sort of break, an opportunity for us to kind of think and reset. I like it a lot.
Thanks.
Yeah, I hope you guys do too. I see. Okay, what to talk about now? Okay, so I have 2 albums here, and one is the most recent one called Joy, and then there's Mexico. Can you tell me, Kenny? I think you said that these were recorded, or these weren't recorded here at your studio.
Yeah, they were.
Oh, they were. Okay. Germany. What's the?
They were released on a label in Germany, by a label in Germany that we met playing in Louisville here, and they asked us after we played with them. They told us that they had a small label in Dresden, and then they were willing to put out a record and bring us over there, and we've been over a few times now. And
wow.
It's a really cool relationship, yeah.
That is a cool relationship. Yeah. So, okay, yeah, because that was what I was going to ask, was this sort of a new strategy for you all to sort of release in Europe and sort of bring the wave back here, or it just happened?
It just happened, yeah. We've never been very good at having a strategy for anything. So it worked out in our favor in this case so far.
Well, tell us about your, how many times have you said 3 or 4 times you've been over?
Yeah, Hayden and I have been 3 times. And then we're going back this summer. And then Lee and Chris joined us this past time over there.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you have a lot of gigs, just a handful?
Yeah, we were there for like a month each time. And this time we're going back twice this summer. We're coming back for most of the month of July, and then going back at the end of July into August. But we're going to be there for all of June, almost.
That's got to be exciting as hell. So do you guys have, do you have, so you don't have regular jobs, either of you?
Well, they're not regular. But we have jobs.
I know, that's a funny phrase. Yeah, what do you do other than play music?
I deliver mail and answer phones for my dad.
Okay. You deliver mail. Is it easy to get a sub?
Well, I'm the sub, so probably not.
Yeah, what about you?
And then I've got a pretty standard drummer job. I work at a pizza place. I'm a pizza delivery man. So. It's perfect.
Good. Yeah. All right. So it sounds good. So your recording studio. I'd love to. What do you call your recording studio?
Fat Baby Studios.
Fat Baby. How come?
That apparently that was my nickname when I was a baby. Yeah. I stand on it.
How's that stand? And you were okay immortalizing that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't really thinking. This has been true for everything I've ever named. I don't ever think about other people knowing that that's the name. I just name it because I want to be done with the naming process. So, yeah, I didn't realize I was always going to be calling attention to this thing that might be embarrassing about being a baby.
So when you all built the studio, did you imagine it to be just a place where you would sort of put together your own creations, or did you have in mind that it would become, a business, which it seems like it has?
Well, yeah, we hoped that we would be able to bring in a little extra money on the side by recording people, which has turned into not substantial, but at least some money over the years. And it was mostly like learning how to record, and everything was just so we could put out records, because we didn't want to have to pay for studio time. So the whole reason our parents were gracious enough to put a studio in the basement is because we wanted to record our own music.
So, do bands all want to still make CDs these days, or is it? Do you see the landscape changing?
I don't know. I'm probably not the best person to answer that. A few of the bands I've been talking to recently about recording have said that they're just going to record enough songs for a record and then release them over the course of a year, like one at a time, and then put out a record. Whether that's, depending on how those songs do, whether that's a physical record or not. I guess.
Right.
It depends on that.
Well, that's a pretty big shift in and of itself, right? The focus
Right.
on the single tune and
Yeah, it's just always, I guess it's important to always be posting some sort of content in order to attract attention to your internet use. I don't know about that.
I don't know either.
Presence. I'm still sort of out of the loop on that.
Well, Hayden's a little bit younger. Maybe you can explain it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some kind of deal.
Yeah. So, could you introduce us to your guitar player? And the bassist does not have a mic by him.
You can share mine.
But he could share yours. Well, should we start with the bassist? You already guys know the bassist.
This is Christian Justice. And come on.
Yeah, Christian, how'd you learn to play bass so good?
Practice.
Yeah.
Lots.
Yeah?
Still too, yeah, every day.
Yeah, and did you do that even as a younger person?
Well, I was like Hayden, and I had band. I was in band, so I played percussion instruments in 6th grade, and got to high school, and all my friends were playing guitar, and I got a guitar and started learning. And then I quickly realized that everyone plays guitar. I went to Boyd County, and everybody could play guitar, and everybody needed a bassist. So I had a friend loan me a bass and an amp, and after a month of just practicing bass, I was already in like 4 bands. I was in jazz band in high school and stuff, and then it just kind of went from there, I guess.
Yeah, because when you listen to you play, your playing is so intricate, and there's so much going on, and it's just so right in the pocket, with Hayden.
Well, I can say that I stole a lot of this from Kenny's bass lines from the record. Since I'm not on the record, I had to sit down and really, it's a tricky thing to play bass for a band that already have established songs in a record, and you have to make those songs sound like the record, or it changes the whole groove of everything. So
Right, but I don't think you always have to, right? I mean, except but with a band like this.
Yeah.
And the way that things are so tightly composed.
Yeah, I take liberties. I mean, I always take liberties for every band that I play for, but I try to respect what is already done.
Yeah.
And not completely change everything.
Yeah. Well, beautiful playing. I mean, it's really good. All right, and that leaves us then with Leo, and he has a dedicated mic. So we can have a conversation that's dedicated to Lee Owen, the lead guitar player. Lee, wow. Is this just what you like to do? Sure. Yeah. You just seem made for this. I mean, I just love the way your lines work well together. I mean, that's just cool as anything. Tell us about you and your musical roots, how you came to be the player that you are today.
Well, I started playing as a kid. I had a family member, much like these guys, who I sort of learned from a family member. My grandmother played the piano. Sort of young age, I would sit on the piano bench while she played.
In Kentucky?
And I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee.
In Nashville, okay.
And so when I was a kid, I was in the yard across the street playing his acoustic guitar, and I went over and said, "Teach me," when I was 9, and started taking lessons from the dude across the street. I did that for 2 or 3 years until I sort of figured out how to teach myself whatever I was into, listen to songs on the radio and figure out how to play them. and then sort of quit giving lessons, but played all growing up and had bands all from a very young age. Went through college, had a lot of bands, and then after college decided I want to learn some jazz chords and get some actual training. So I went to Louisville at that time and took from a guy named Jeff Sherman, who they taught at Bellarmine College, and I did that for maybe a year or two. And that's really the only formal training I've had. Most of it's just noodling and playing by ear and playing off people. And,
so the time you had with Lee, what was his name, Sherman?
Jeff Sherman.
Jeff Sherman. So the time you had with Jeff Sherman, was that do a lot for you?
You know, it gave me the things I wanted, which was to learn some cool jazz chords and to learn how to read music. I still don't sight read, and what I actually learned in that deal was that we had a whole bunch of us in a guitar ensemble. We would all have this music and we would all play it, and then we'd finish the part that was on the page and then go, now take a solo. To which everybody that was in the ensemble and used to reading off the page would be like, ah, the road just ended, and they didn't know where to go. To which I'm like, good, I was struggling to read the page. So I sort of had the part they didn't have, which was freedom, and they had all the discipline. So I learned the discipline, but I soon left it and went back to freedom. So there's no music in that way, but I wanted to learn that stuff. So I always tell people I can't really read music, but I can decipher it. You know, I can sit down with the page and figure out what it is, and then forget the dots, so I can just be me out of it. So I don't have a lot of training. But I play a lot of different styles, you know, I don't know what we call us, sort of country, rock, mix sort of thing, but I've had bluegrass bands and reggae bands, I've played a ton of Grateful Dead music over the years. You just have lots of different projects and lots of different genres. I'm a huge Django Reinhardt fan, so I got into that a few years back, gypsy swing sort of world, and so I don't know, it all sort of mashes together into whatever you get, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not just like a human jukebox, he's like a jukebox full of like obscure, really impressive guitar licks, you know, that he can just pull out. Like if he just sits around with a guitar in his lap, it's always something beautiful coming from Leon.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like all of you guys are guys I would pay like a fee to spend just to hang out.
I'll give you my number.
Very nice. So Kenny, so it all comes back to you. So I noticed you're playing with 2 fingers most of the time. Is that the way you've always played?
No, I made an effort to try to learn how to fingerpick 6 or 7 years ago. My dad was really into Chet Atkins and Doc Watson and stuff, and while that was like super intimidating, doing it with 2 fingers was a little more approachable to me, and then I just sort of got comfortable with that, and I feel like it's easier to express myself with 2 than all 5.
Right, it's a really nice sound, and I feel just really fortunate to have been here tonight to hear you all play, and great to meet you. I think I've met everybody. I haven't met you or Lee before, so it's great to meet you both.
Great to meet you too.
Love your music, and I think everybody who's here is ready to hear some more.
Okay.
So let's hear some more Wayne Band.